welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for a full Barça news roundup coming your way because we're going to be discussing Raphinha and his desire ahead of the summer transfer window, along with Ruben Neves, who waved goodbye yesterday to the Wolves fans. Is he really Barça bound? We're also going to talk about Ilkay Gundogan. Are we still on track to sign the German midfielder, or is there reason for concern right now, along with the latest on Gavi? There's plenty of midfielders discussed in today's video. Maybe that's a sign of what's to come this summer. But come on, guys. And now, let's get to it. Because if we do indeed kick off with Raphinha, because we spoke a few days ago about the fact that Xavi has apparently already told the club not to sell Raphinha. He does not want the club to sanction his departure, and he wants him part of his plans for next season, despite big interest from the Premier League in Raphinha, of course. And it appears right now that that desire from Xavi has been backed up by the will of the player. Raphinha himself yesterday, after the game, after the celebration, he left everyone in no doubt about what he wants to do this summer. He said, I want to stay here for many years to come. I don't want to leave. I want to stay at Barca. And then he proceeded actually to do what he did at Leeds in their final game of the season, when he walked the whole length of the field on his hands and knees there. The same thing that he did when Leeds avoided relegation. And it's not really a goodbye type situation. That's more of a celebratory thing there. Raphinha really getting involved in the emotions, and also with the fans at the end of the game yesterday. He was taking selfies there, he was speaking to them, and he even said, let's see next season if you've got a chant for me, talking there about the fans creating their own Raphinha chant perhaps. So quite clearly he's making plans. He has no intention whatsoever of leaving the club this summer, and I think even more intriguingly than that was what Romero then added late last night, when he actually said there, Gerard Romero, that if it was up to the club, it would be Dembele who would leave this summer and Raphinha would stay at the club. Whereas Romero said if it was up, though, to the coaching staff, Dembele and Raphinha would both remain at the club. So Romero claims that if it was up to Barca, the hierarchy there, the board members, Dembele would be the one who would leave the club, which I think actually to hear that there was a bit of a shock. But at the same time, maybe when you think about it, it wasn't that surprising, given the fact that just recently, when Almani was said to be leaving the club before he did his U-turn, it was actually said back then that he was one of those who wanted Dembele away from the first team. When all of that contract stuff was going on, he wanted him to be out of Xavi's plans and away from the team before Xavi stepped in and said, no, I want to keep playing him, we're going to keep including him in the squad. And I feel like very much right now it's the same kind of situation whereby Xavi, he has the control. We know that under Xavi, Dembele is untouchable, he's irreplaceable in Xavi's project, and for that reason, the club are still drafting up a long-term deal for Dembele. They want him to continue at the club, but we still don't know, of course, this summer, how those negotiations are going to go. Are they going to be more straightforward now? Is it going to be easier to reach an agreement? All of that is still to come. Now, speaking about new contracts, though, I do also want to talk about Gavi, because we all know that he signed a brand new contract at the club until 2026, until La Liga just conveniently decided to basically unregister that new deal and put him back on his old youth contract, which actually expires at the end of the season, which is obviously not ideal for the club. Now, one of our very first priorities this summer is going to be getting Gavi registered on that new contract in La Liga, keeping him at the club long term, and that is something that will definitely happen. 100% that will happen. And that was backed up this weekend by Gavi's own words. And I want to tell you about this because he said, I want you all to be calm about my future. I am very calm. He said, since I was a kid, I've always wanted to stay at Barca. It is my dream club. And I always say that. So don't worry. Let everyone be calm. And I just think those are fantastic words from Gavi to all of the Barca fans, no matter what we might hear, no matter what scaremongering rumours the media are going to bring to our door, Gavi is going to stay here. His contract situation will be sorted out at the end of the season. He's with us long term. However, Then we do move on to the topic of Ruben Neves, because I think it's very interesting to see what happened yesterday when he was seen waving goodbye to the Wolves fans during their final home game of the season on Saturday, and that's prompted, of course, real questions now about his future, and especially given what he then said after the game, that fueled the speculation even more, because Ruben Neves said, let's wait and see what's going to happen. He said, I've always said the same thing, I love being here at Wolves, but I never hide that I want to play Champions League football. And that's a hard decision for me to make because I feel at home here for me and for my family. But he then said, in football, you have to go for your goals. And I think there will be a massive decision for me, but nothing has happened yet. And if it was my last game here, I enjoyed it. And I'm grateful for all the people who worked with me over the last 6 seasons. And now I don't know about you guys, but I just think listening to those words there, that does not sound like a player who's going to be at that club next season. For me, it seems as though Neves already knows a move is likely, and that would actually back up what we've heard here about the fact that Barca already have a deal agreed with him, that they already have those personal terms agreed, providing that we can now go and agree a deal with Wolves. Suddenly, Neves to Barca, it's a genuine possibility. And I would actually go further on that based on what Romero said last night. I don't want to bring you these words here because these are ones that we need to pay attention to. He said, I think Ruben Neves will arrive if Franck Kessie leaves this summer. Now, that opening statement there, fine. There's nothing really wrong with that. You know, if you don't trust Kessie to be in the team, if you want him to leave this summer, it's possible then to bring in Neves to replace him, and that is fine if that's what the club want to do. But it's when you go on then, and what Romero said next, which is again where my concern lies, because he says the deal for Neves would be like a reward for Jorge Mendes for renewing Balde and for renewing Lamine Yamal. Now, both of those renewals are yet to take place at the moment, but if they do, it would be like a reward for Jorge Mendes to sign Neves for Barca. I mean, what on earth does that mean? What on earth is that there? Are we rewarding an agent for what? Doing his job? Is that where we're at right now? You know, I know that again, these relationships that you can have with super agents, they're helpful. They can be used to your advantage, but I don't think we should be rewarding him here with a signing for the club. That sounds to me absolutely ridiculous. And I just think whatever happens with Ruben Neves this summer, if he does end up coming to Barca, so be it. But let it be for the right reasons. Let it be here because we have a player that we see can make a difference in the squad, that we see can make an impact, and also a player that Chaffee feels that he can use in his team. Let it be for those reasons and not because we're trying to do a super agent a bit of a favour for some renewals. I mean, come on. Which then brings us on to another midfielder in Ilkay Gundogan, who was confirmed yet again as a Premier League champion on Saturday. Man City's 5th title in 6 seasons. It's been incredible, the domination there from Pep Guardiola, and City will of course play in the Champions League final against Inter this season. Now, Gundogan has been a huge part of all of that, of all of Man City's success. He has been a really big part of it and a leader as well in their team. And I would say actually that in 2023 he's gone to a whole new level. You know, he is playing at a fantastic standard right now, and he seems to do that. You think at the end of last season as well how key he was in Man City's title then. He seems to really step up when the stakes are high, when it really matters in the biggest of moments. And isn't that the kind of player that we would love to have at Barca? But are we still on track to get him? Are we still looking like we're going to wrap up this Gundogan deal on a free transfer? Because there has been some concern of late, especially given that really strong run of form from Gundogan, because the media in England are starting to say Man City now are willing to raise their offer in a late bid now to keep him at the club and stop him from leaving for free at the end of the season. City are willing to increase the length of that deal that's on the table, although it is interesting because from what I've heard right now, that contract offer still would only be until 2025. So it would be a 2-year renewal on the table there from City. Originally, they're only offering him a 1-year extension, but that does still mean right now that Barca have the advantage because we are still offering him the longest deal until 2026. There it would be a 3-year deal for Gundogan. Now, whether it's a more lucrative deal, though, that remains to be seen. We know that Man City can offer basically a blank cheque for any player they're willing willing to sign. Barca do not have that luxury. But according to Javi Miguel this morning, Barca apparently are very, very calm about Gundogan right now. Even despite that new offer from City, the club are aware of it, but they are still very calm on getting this deal done. They feel the player is still convinced about the move here. He's spoken with Xavi, he's given his okay to the deal, and he's excited about the project at Barca. So I really do hope here that we can get this Gundogan deal over the line. He is a player that could add to our squad. It would be a really clever free transfer coming in. And I'm just interested right now, guys, in the rumours that we're hearing with all the speculation that is surrounding our summer transfer window. On the face of it, what midfielders do you want to see join the club? We've heard lots of them linked right now. We've heard plenty of names, but which midfielders are you hoping to see in a Barca shirt come the start of next season? Please do let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below, and everything else we have discussed in today's video. It's been a special weekend, hasn't it? Lifting the title in front of our fans, the celebrations there with the whole team. It's been special, and it is just a taste of what is to come as we continue to build, continue to grow, and this summer is vital in our project. Thank you indeed today, guys, for joining me as always on the video. I will see you soon with lots more on the way for you across the two channels. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça!